Welcome to another live stream, guys. Bitcoin bulls showing signs of life once again. Will they be able to pick up momentum and actually break my 4-hour resistance levels, or will the bears regain full control once again? To be honest, I do think we could push a little higher yet with today's rally. But I do already have a couple concerns, which I'll talk about in a sec here. Guys, I'm actually going to take a look at the Bitcoin 4-hour chart and zoom in a little bit as well. But she's going to be a real quick stream today. Tweaked my back a little due to winter conditions here, so I'm planning to chill pretty hard here. But just wanted to make sure I at least give you guys my current thoughts on the market with a couple levels on my radar and that sort of thing. So if you appreciate these live streams, my friends, focusing purely on market structure and charts rather than hopium fundamentals, do me a favor and smash that like button. With that, guys, I'm not all too surprised to see us getting a little push to the upside here. I'm still expecting a little bit lower on that 4-hour chart, but I mean, I could be wrong about that as well. But I actually mentioned in my Telegram earlier that if the bulls were able to push above this lower sell signal, basically at 86.5K, that we would likely go for a little run today, possibly even up towards 90K for a resistance retest, basically. Will we get there? Tough to say. I myself never took the long from this setup, but I did mention it. So hopefully some of you in the Telegram were able to play a momentum long, and obviously you should be taking profits along the way on that kind of trade because it was based off a 5-minute chart. You should obviously be taking profits because it's been several hours since that, but nice to see. Absolutely beautiful. And again, just one of my strategies with this MDX ALGO indicator, the trend master, that, hey, we have this much lower sell signal, which would be bearish to me. However, we did actually end up pushing to the downside again there for some nice scalping there. However, when we broke that level, that's where we get that bullish signal. And this is the warning I basically gave in the Telegram earlier, just warning to watch that level basically. And guys, for those of you who are interested in seeing way more examples of how I'm looking at market structure, some of my trade setups and strategies and so on, much like my signal earlier, my partners at BloFin are currently running this new promo for my followers. So be sure to scan the QR code on the screen, either the one on the banner here or on the screen here. Yeah, be sure to scan the QR code and sign up to the no KYC exchange that I've personally been trading on for well over a year now. This will get you the current running promo until December 23rd, as well as future ones, plus access to my free VIP Telegram channel. So with that, yeah, just looking at this on the 5-minute for what it is, like I said, there is some levels on my radar at this point. Let's go back to the 4-hour quickly. Actually, notice that I was talking about 90K as a potential resistance level, and that's basically for a few reasons here. One, we do have this sell signal on the trend master on the 4-hour. Now, technically, it's a higher sell signal, and we've been printing higher buy signals. However, you know, with this buy signal here, this would have been where we had our pivot, and we did end up losing that level. Even though we reclaimed it very briefly here, we did break that structure. So after a pullback, it's still possible that we lost that uptrend on the 4-hour already. And in that case, this sell signal does still have resistance above us. And notice that the top of this indicator, this darker blue line here, is sitting around 89.8K, so very close to that 90K level. On top of that, guys, let's remove the trend master. And I've been talking about this one for a while, but the ALGO master indicator with the auto STUBER fibs do still have the same fib, the Fibonacci range that I have pulled basically from our lows back here to our current range highs. And the fact that that indicator is giving me confluence of that still suggests that we could end up tagging these support levels down here. Now, obviously, if the bulls are strong, we may be front running those levels and just pushing to new highs, you know, absolutely possible. But at this point, these support levels are still on my radar. And the fact that the trend master has resistance, still possible that we end up going down there. On top of that, let's just look at a naked price structure point of view here. I'll even remove those because I have my purple box as a STUBER fib, the green box as the bullish swing fail, and of course the red resistance that I've been watching for quite some time now. But if we are just looking at the very immediate price action on the 4-hour, I'm talking just the current swing to the downside here. Our our micro lower high on the trend is this red line right here, which again is right at about 90,000 US dollars. My reasoning for that is because we had this low, we have this as a lower low. That means the highest point, which is right here, is my confirmed lower high on the trend. Now, a lot of people would think that just because we broke this level, hey, that's bullish. Well, it means that we broke out of a very small range, but we're still in a bigger range and then still in a bigger range, right? Because there's always smaller ranges inside bigger ranges. But as far as this level, just being that this price action never set a new lower low, confirming that as a lower high on the trend. We never had that. So yeah, we broke some potential resistance there, but very minor on the grand scheme of things, in my opinion. I think this resistance up here is more significant, around 90K. If we pull a fib, something like that, just on the ongoing trend of the 4-hour currently, we would have resistance basically starting around 88.8K if we end up climbing a little bit higher here. If we end up invalidating that fib pull, you guys know that I'm still watching this resistance level from approximately 93 to 95,000 US dollars. We still haven't been able to break that range. I mean, that's been on my radar since basically here, since we had this bottom here, which would be mid to end November, basically. Well, yeah, November 21st or so. So, a few weeks ago, basically a month ago. That is how long that red box has been there, because that's where we confirmed this range, or ever since that, we haven't broke this range anyways. So that red resistance pocket has been up there for, about a month now at this point. So I would still really like to see the bulls be able to smash through that red pocket before getting too bullish on the trend as a whole. Doesn't mean there won't be bounce plays. There is still opportunities to the long side of things, but just looking at the overall trend, if Bitcoin can't break above 95K, I just think that it's in serious trouble. It just needs to break that at least to get out of this big sideways range. And if that happens, then, we can revisit the idea of testing some significantly higher levels, but we need to break that resistance first. And before that, we need to break that 90K resistance. So on the 5-minute, same thing. We obviously had this big drop to the downside, but I have the same fib pocket outlined, right? This is basically the same level here, right around that 90K, down to where we bottomed out earlier in the day. And yeah, basically that's the same resistance levels, right? From about 88.9, 88.8, all the way up towards approximately, 90.7 in that case. As far as, let's say we go to the downside, right? Let's say we either get that direct rejection off resistance at the top of the range, or let's say we pull back early. Is there any potential long scenarios? Well, I do think so. For one, currently, let's get rid of that blue line, because that had already played out, obviously. There's a couple different things that are on my radar right now. If we would end up pulling back right now, the current structure on this 5-minute trend is basically we had a high here and we broke it with a higher high here. That means my yellow line down here is my confirmed higher low at approximately 86,000 US dollars. So if we end up pulling back something like this, there is a potential long play, something like that. However, it is still possible that we end up retesting the entire range. I don't have a ton of FOMO for the long side of things right now, but I would still be looking for the bigger range pull, basically, which is why I have my purple and green boxes down here, just because I would be basically pulling my fibs from where we have bottomed out on this trend. And just since this is our current highs, basically that would be my fib range. So that's why I have those levels on my radar. So for me, I like support basically between 85.8K down towards 84.5K. If we end up dropping that, then I think we're going to revisit those 4-hour levels that I was talking about. Shoveling snow. Well, shoveling snow and just slipping on ice. A little bit of a tweak. Anyways, guys, like I said, I wanted to keep this one very short, and I think that's about all I really wanted to go over. I just wanted to put those few levels on your radar, just to, a couple things to be cautious of moving forwards for the near future here. Hoping to be doing a stream tomorrow again as well. If you appreciate these live streams, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And just a reminder for those of you who are interested in my thoughts on the market, some of my favorite trade strategies, trade setup ideas, how I'm looking at market structure, how I'm viewing fibs, and some of my favorite indicators and that sort of thing. Do yourselves a favor, scan the QR code up on the screen here on my BloFin poster, or the one that is on the screen now here. Like I said, currently running this promo for you guys until December 23rd. And so that also gets you access into my free VIP Telegram channel. With that, my friends, thank you so much for being here with me once again. I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.